Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Video Game Drive-By. We're taking just a very brief break from Alan Wake to do our year-end wrap-up, because if you haven't been here the past few years, what we've been doing is at the end of the year, we play something completely different, just a one-off episode of a game, and then go over the games that we played in the past year. You know, what was our favorite game? What do we think was the best, the worst game, surprisingly good, most disappointing, that kind of thing. Just to kind of throw it all out there, what we thought of the lineup for this year.
And maybe give people an idea of video series to start on.
Yeah.
If they ever want to go back and look at our back catalog. Because I am proud of some of our back catalog.
And we decided to play this because after last year, where I got a little too into the fighting game, we played Mortal Kombat 1, and I started remembering that I used to be very into fighting games. I started smooth braining my way through a bunch of the questions, giving little one-word answers and not really elaborating on any of it. And since this is Vampire Survivors is a game you could just switch your brain off and just go in,
yeah,
it felt like this was fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and start here. And you pointed out that this does have a co-op that I have never bothered with. So I'm going to pick my character. I guess you press any button to join? Okay, so it's waiting on me. Okay, now go ahead and
there we go.
grab a character.
I will admit, I've only played one of the DLCs for this in any amount. And, they're all locked.
Yeah, I have not touched the Among Us DLC
I kind of love the Among Us DLC for this, because I happen to be pretty familiar with Among Us in general.
I know nothing about it, so the only DLC... I say the only DLC, but I mess with most of them except for the Among Us and the Contra one.
Yeah.
So I've been very much into the Castlevania one.
But before we accidentally give this game a proper review...
Yeah. So, we go... Oh, okay, here we go. So I'm just going to look for... What do you think, a 30-minute or a 20-minute?
I guess 20-minute will be fine.
20-minute? Alright.
Unless one of us rambles too long and talks in circles.
Okay.
Like I'm prone to do.
Probably. We'll go ahead with that. Alright, so the first question I want to go with... Oh, shoot. Okay, cool. Alright, so the first question is, what do you think was the best game of the year? What was your favorite?
That we played on the channel?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's a little self-serving, but I mean, I gotta go with the one we're currently playing, Alan Wake.
Alan Wake Remastered?
Yeah, I only just got into the series this year, even though I've owned Alan Wake 1 for well over a decade at this point. It's grabbed me in ways that a lot of games haven't. It helps that I played Control and Max Payne. I just realized Remedy might be my favorite game developer right now, just in general. Oh, I didn't realize I was hitting a store.
Oh, it's fine.
It's going to back out. But, what about you?
I'm actually going to go with Alan Wake as well.
That's a win for me.
Because, like, it is a good game. I was expecting it to be...
me? Oh.
Yeah, that's you.
You were expecting it to be a good game?
Yeah, well, at very least, I would expect it to be okay.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm trying not to, like, say too much, but... Because I was at least, like, for a while... It's been, like, kind of on my radar, but it's been, like, on the edge of the radar. Because I remember when the first game came out, a friend of mine would play the crap out of it, but I didn't really know much about it.
Yeah.
Like, he just told me, oh, it's a shooter in kind of a horror setting. And I was like, yeah, alright, sure, why not? But I didn't really know much else about it.
Yeah, and the Spookums games aren't exactly on your priority list.
Oh, yeah,
for
fuck
good
no.
reason.
Fuck
I
no.
understand. You won't hear me make fun of you for that at all. I get it.
So, Alan Wake for both of us?
Yeah.
Alright.
Were there any games, do you want to talk about the stuff you played off the channel for your game of the year, or do you want to save that for after we get through the stuff we played on
I was
channel?
going to say, we usually save that for near the, like, later on in the list. For, like, off-channel stuff.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well,
So, next question, worst game we played this year?
Okay. That's going to be controversial. You won't be surprised at all.
Why not?
I did not like Pokemon.
Yeah, see, here's the thing, is, like... I wasn't sure about Pokemon just because we already... Because we played it last year, and again, it was our worst game.
Yeah.
But we, like, took a break from it about halfway through, because we were just... we were getting a little weary of it.
Yeah.
It was starting to wear on us quite a bit, and we're like, we got to take a break. We got to play something else, anything else.
And coming back to it did not give me fresh eyes.
Yeah.
I kept seeing more of the... Because the problem is I had also gone back and just played one of the classic Pokemon games. And, like, Gold and Silver are still my favorite, too, out of the whole franchise. Like, the original Game Boy Color Gold and Silver. Like, nothing beats those for me. Well, the trading card games, but those are different.
One thing for me was, like, I don't... Even though I say that it's the worst game that we played this year, I don't necessarily hate Pokemon Scarlet.
Yeah.
But it's just that, like... Because a Pokemon game, it's not unusual for it to be rough around the edges, but this one really felt like it was a lot rougher. Like, there were a lot more rougher edges on it.
It felt to me like they really wanted to get the video game out so they could sell more cards.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like it was the tentpole. Like the main thing holding up the franchise. It felt more like the vessel to distribute new characters, to justify adding new characters to the card game.
Oh.
You know? Like, it felt more obligatory of a release than, you know, the thing that they want to hold out in front of everyone. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, I did. I mean, it wasn't a hateful experience. It wasn't a miserable, never want to touch it again kind of thing. I may one day revisit it and see what happens, but it is not my favorite.
Yeah, like, it's certainly not awful, but it just kind of, like, it...
If that's the worst main game your franchise has, your franchise is still doing pretty good.
Yeah, and also, like, one thing that, like, it really... I know I lingered on this when we were playing it, but it really kind of, like... I feel like it said something to me when we got to the Elite Four, and it starts with a written interview test, and saying you're collecting Pokemon to have fun makes you fail the test.
Yep.
I felt like that really delivered the worst message possible.
Yeah, it never felt like we were playing to be our character. We were playing to fulfill the obligations of other characters.
Right. Like, Nimona wants you to go fight the gym leaders to fight against the Elite Four. It's like, I don't care about this right this second. And she doesn't take no for an answer.
And good things about it. You know, the whole bullying side plot. I actually thought that was well handled.
I thought that one was decent. Me personally, I was more into that one guy and his dog.
Oh yeah, no, that dog was the best part of the whole game.
Like, I was fully invested in that part.
And the stories we crafted for our team were fun. You know, like,
yeah.
But that's us
right,
building our own enjoyment out of the sandbox.
Yeah, finding our own fun.
Yeah.
But
it ain't the Play-Doh; it's the shapes we made from it.
Right. Okay, we're kind of lingering on that one.
Yeah.
So the next, surprisingly,
minor spoilers. We will loop back around to a Pokemon in discussing.
Will we? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So surprisingly good game.
Yeah. Now this one has an asterisk because it's kind of the opposite of my opinions with Pokemon, and I'm gonna go with Seven Knights Ghost.
Okay.
Because I expected it to be crap, and I actually found myself engaged with it to a point. That point was the final night.
Yeah.
Which...
understandable.
Yeah, it tanked the game at that point, and I ended up kind of being bummed by that, but I thought the game was adorable and wholesome. There was no real scariness to it. It was actually super cute and adorable and just awkward and funny.
Even the jump scares, to a point, like, I still didn't like them just because I do get very goosey around that kind of stuff, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't go, like, Five Nights at Freddy's where it's, like, screaming at you loudly.
It felt like it would do the jump scare, and then it went, Tee-hee, got you, your turn.
Yeah, like, what... Like when
getting jump scared by your little cousin.
She does the jump scare, and then the game over message says something mundane and silly, like the noodles got soggy or whatever. Like you didn't die, you just got badly inconvenienced.
Yeah, and I would, with a little bit of polish, I would play another game in that series. Like if that guy did Seven Knights Ghost 2, I'd play it.
Yeah,
I'd give it a shot. That developer has earned enough brownie points for me that I'm willing to overlook the toenail sitting on the top of the cupcake at the end of the game.
I'm sorry, what? Can you repeat that analogy, please?
Nope.
The toenails on the what? Okay, That feels like a reference to something.
It's not. This
That's
is just me talking.
That's just your brain just farting out some...
I've been watching a whole lot of Cutthroat Kitchen lately.
Some unhinged shit. Please do not tell me they put actual toenails on a cupcake.
No, not at all.
Okay.
There have been some nonsense in Cutthroat Kitchen. It's on Disney. You should watch it. Or on Hulu.
I'm not sure I want to.
It's an Alton Brown game show where...
I'm aware what it is, unless you're explaining it for the viewers.
Yeah, it's an Alton Brown game show where the 3 chefs, or the 4 chefs, have to bid on ways to sabotage the other chefs. And it gets more and more ridiculous as the series goes on. Like, earlier it's like, you get to take away all their knives and they got to make them out of tinfoil. Haha, isn't that funny? And then later on it's like, they can do all of their cutting wearing this helmet with a knife attached to it.
Jesus.
Or they have to be chained back to back and do all of their cooking in alternate beeps of this horn.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, 5 minutes left in the match? Guess what? Swap stations, finish the other person's dish, and sell it as your own.
See, I think the worst I've seen was either removing another chef's ingredients or swapping them for something else. Like, I remember someone had something like they were making some kind of meat dish, and all of a sudden, Alton comes out and he's like, okay, now you're bidding to change the protein item in another chef's dish. You're replacing it with this canned chicken.
Yep. A whole canned chicken.
Right.
You're making jambalaya, but all your flavors have to come from these flavored jelly beans. Make sure you follow the flavor listing right, or you might accidentally put an earwax jelly bean instead of your celery flavor.
Jesus. But yeah, that's probably the worst I've seen.
Yeah. But I could spend hours talking about my weird obsession with Cutthroat Kitchen. So let's get to your...
My unexpected, surprisingly good, pleasant surprise was Super Mario RPG. Now, I actually want to... hold on a second. So this I might have to explain to you. So if you go up and select one of these things, it'll tell you what ability it'll give you. But if you don't like these 6, you can hit reroll and just get something like another set of 6, but you can't go back to anything you see here.
Oh, I see.
And if you look at the bottom, it'll kind of point out if it directly affects your weapon.
Yeah.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're mulling over magic cards here. Okay, you got it?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
But anyway,
so Mario RPG. Mario RPG. So I never expected it to be bad. That was the thing. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I don't know that I expected anything more than just a graphics update.
Yeah, but there was so much love put into it.
There was a lot more to it. Like, the whole, one of your teammates dies. They get swapped out immediately.
The adorable dances when you level up.
The silly dances, yeah. They added that in there.
Including both versions of the soundtrack.
Right, that. The team attacks. There was so much extra stuff that they didn't have to put in, and they just did.
It had an equal dose of respect for new players and nostalgia baiting for old players.
Yeah, and then the optional super bosses they added in. And I still remember...
And the fact that they got the Final Fantasy music back from Square. They let them use it.
I still remember, fighting the upgraded version of Culex.
Yeah.
And you... just remembering, your reaction when... Because you were reading ahead.
Yeah.
Because I was the one playing it. You were reading ahead and you saw the thing that said, if you destroy all the crystals, he'll come back with an instant kill team attack. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with the crystals. And you were like, oh shit. But you couldn't say anything.
Yep.
But yeah, that was my... surprisingly good.
See, that one didn't make any of my lists because it was exactly what I wanted. It was a great game, and it just barely got beaten out by Alan Wake for me because that game just speaks to my soul. So
surprisingly bad.
Yeah. So or most disappointing.
Or disappointing.
Yeah.
Most disappointing.
And that still goes to Pokemon for me. I wanted it to be good. I enjoyed the good that was there, but just the bad felt like it was intentionally fighting my will to enjoy it. Just like with that quiz for you, it felt like at every turn something new was coming in to just pull the rug out from under me on something. Oh, this could be fun. Oh, cool. Nope, we need you to stop doing that and do this monotonous, annoying side quest. Oh, you like where this plot is going? No. Let's bring that annoying friend in. Oh, you
Yeah.
like this boss? Let's make you do it exactly the same 6 times.
Oh, the truck boss?
Yeah, which was a
Ugh.
cool idea, and then they screwed it up.
Right. Like, I wouldn't mind if they took that idea, like, yeah, because it was... The original base version is like steel and something. Was like steel and poison or
Yeah.
something. And they would change it to whatever the leader of that group was. And I wouldn't mind if they, took Pokemon A and just give it Type B. But when Pokemon A is always the same Pokemon, over and
Yeah.
over, it's always the truck, it's like, alright, this is getting a little dull.
And they didn't put the terrestrializing, they didn't make it as important enough of a mechanic and give it enough mechanical weight to where you actively avoided it.
Yeah.
And still won.
Yeah, well, because think about it.
I
most of
kept
the time-
begging you to deal with it just because I wanted to see it more, to see if it would get good, and it just didn't.
No. Like, I just kind of got tired of it. I was like, I used it like once or twice. I was like, I don't see much point in it. Like, maybe it boosts some attack power or something, but
Yeah.
other than that, I mean...
At least the old, like, Z powers, you could buy a bracelet and use the Z crystals on the bracelet and, interact with the toy to play the game,
Or the... Oh, you mean like outside of the
Yeah,
game
you
or
could
something?
get the Z crystal bracelet and you could buy the crystals that each had the different elements in them instead of finding them in the game and just hot swap them on that, and it worked fine. It was cool.
Okay.
It was a neat feature. I would engage with it like once and then put it on the shelf and go, okay, that's cool. But, but it was also not required. I didn't have to buy all our play sets and toys in order to enjoy the game.
Well, more than that, like, back during Gen 6, when, what was it? What was it? The Mega Evolutions. They had the Mega Evolutions and, would just, like, vastly power up whatever Pokemon used it.
And the designs were actually cool, not
Yeah.
just let's put shit on their head.
Right, not put a diamond thing on their head,
Yeah.
which, some of them are silly, like seeing the old ghost Pokemon, like the
Yeah.
unidentifiable one for ghost types, like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool, that's neat, I remember
Literally
that.
everything that was positive in the game outstayed its welcome.
Yeah.
Everything did. But yeah, so that's why that one ended up on my surprisingly, like, most disappointing,
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go with it's bad.
Yeah.
But
So, I've actually got 2 for most disappointing. So, first off was Yeah, You Want Those Games, the second one.
yeah.
Because the first Yeah, You Want Those Games, I played the crap out of.
Yeah.
Like, we had our couple episodes with it, and
I
I
held an intervention for you. It was very
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
And I constantly, even like long after we were done, I kept going back to play the color mixer thing
Yeah.
and the what's it called? And the parking lot thing. Like those
Yeah.
2 games, I kept going back.
Well,
to
that parking lot one
frequently.
is weirdly satisfying.
Yeah, like I was not expecting to be into that as much as I would keep going back to those 2 constantly.
Yeah.
But
If anyone
then-
ever actually really made those games as a mobile game, they could do a killing.
Yeah. But the thing was, like, with Yeah, You Want Those Games too, I felt no need to go back to it.
Yeah.
Like, I had no attachment to anything in that set.
Yeah, they kind of blew their load a little early, and the rest of the stuff was just kind of there.
Like, I think I went back to it maybe twice, and that was it. Whereas the first Yeah, You Want games, I think I kept going to for the first, for several months after that.
Yeah.
But after that, I was just like, after the second game came out, I was like, no, that's, we played it and that's it. I'm done. I don't care enough to come back to it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a decent selection of games.
Okay. Genuinely
But
surprised by that response from you, but yeah. But then again, I didn't really check in on you
Yeah.
on your gameplay of that.
Yeah. The second choice, and this is where I want to emphasize the disappointing part of it and not bad, because I don't think this is bad, but Seven Nights Ghost. Because I actually thought it was kind of disappointing. Because the thing for me was, like, I'm only just now noticing on our weapons list, I put a limit on it. Because usually you can hold 6 weapons, but I put, like... I put like 4 because of a previous playthrough I did, like a previous run,
Yeah.
whatever. But Seven Nights Ghost, because like I did enjoy, well, watching you play it, I enjoyed it because I sure as shit wasn't gonna play it. But like I enjoyed it, but it was like it felt unrefined, which isn't necessarily awful, because the impression that the game gave me was that it was made by someone who didn't have a lot of experience in making games, but they had an idea in mind and they wanted to put it out there, and I still have some degree of respect for that. So I still like what it tried to accomplish.
Yeah.
And while it's not great, I like the fact that the creator put it out there, and I'm glad that they did. Because, like, I really like the idea and where they were going with it.
Yeah.
And I think if the person keeps working on games, or just working on stuff, I guess, working on games, I should just specify that, the next time they have a great idea that they want to put out there, I think it can be even better.
Yeah, because weirdly enough, I almost put that game in both surprisingly good and most disappointing.
Yeah, because, like, I can see it.
Yeah, it fits both. And because I had an alternate lined up for my, on the surprisingly good, and that would be this game. Because we're playing it now.
Vampire Survivors, yeah. I will say, this is I think you made a good choice saying we should play this, because we're kind of it's not something we have to put a lot of brain power in.
Yeah, but it's visually stimulating for those who check in.
I can actually focus more on the answer I want to give.
Yeah, I'm just old man garlic rocking chair McWhippy boy.
Right. Okay, so that is those are our answers for disappointing and.
Yeah.
Okay, alright. So, next is best game that we've played off-channel.
Okay. So, you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So, surprising absolutely nobody who has had to put up with me talking over and over again like like a madman in front of his corkboard, Alan Wake 2.
Okay.
With the DLC as well. Look, if Elden Ring's DLC can be Game of the Year, Alan Wake's DLC should have been Game of the Year. Because just one of those 4 DLC packs is Game of the Year material in any year where Alan Wake 2 didn't already exist.
Okay.
Like, if it was a standalone game, it would still be perfect. And the main story is, like, you take the awesome, like, dual layers of the storytelling of Alan Wake and multiply it by a factor of 10.
Alright.
It is a dense tome of a game that never once gets in its own way, steps on its own toes, with the, like, forcing you to juggle between gameplay and storytelling. It's all connected. Everything is. And I was telling you off-channel, there are multi-hour videos of people discussing these games, and it's always different.
Yeah.
Like, it never, nobody has the same exact vibes on the game. So, it just... It's a perfect video game. I understand last year why Baldur's Gate won most of the Game of the Year awards, because there's a lot more game there, and like you absolutely get the horny crowd in, and I fully understand why people love it. If Baldur's Gate 2 3 didn't exist that year, it would be on everyone's Game of the Year, and it won like Finnish cultural awards that are normally given to like what, high art. But then again, Alan Wake has things to say about what is art, what is the nature of art, who are we to even try to quantify it, and if you quantify it, do you diminish it in some way by saying this is the only thing that classifies as art? It has things to say about generative AI that are kind of hilarious, and in an absolutely awesome way that I would not expect from any major video game publisher right now, because everyone seems to be on the thing of we must all have AI. And you even heard me. I think AI is a great tool, but not the primary tool set that one should use.
The end-all, be-all of...
It is not the end product. It is a way to generate your brushes that you then use as an artist to create your art. That's how I feel it should be. But, no, Alan Wake has something to say about it. Has something to say about the nature of multiversal storytelling. The idea of what is canon, what is fan fiction. You know, there's so much there. We'll get to it when we get to part 2, because I will absolutely create a 6-hour-long video right now about it, just rambling. And and you've seen, you know. And then when you play the other games and go back and replay it, it's even better. Quantum Break was made even better by playing Alan Wake 1. Alan Wake 1 was made better by playing Alan Wake 2. Control ties everything together in a neat little bow. It's just it's exactly my jam, and there was never anything else it was going to be this year than Alan Wake 2.
Because I remember, because something we were talking about between episodes, like while not recording, I was remembering how, like, I mentioned, when I did a second playthrough of Alan Wake to do the first one,
Yeah.
just to get the hard mode stuff. You mentioned that there are some things that could be changed, like they'll only appear in hard mode.
Yeah.
Or they might, something that might only appear in hard mode, or stuff that I have only seen, when paying attention.
Yeah,
like,
things
really,
that you can miss.
Yeah. And, because I'm not, not talking in the middle of the game, and I'm just actually focusing on everything I'm seeing, just absorbing everything mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And it made a second playthrough. Waiting on you here, Chief.
Oh, I thought that was yours.
No.
Sorry.
I've been blasting through every treasure chest we found, and I'm sitting here waiting on you, like...
Sorry, my bad.
But yeah, just, actually, a second playthrough, I don't know if it was just, noticing shit that I didn't notice on the previous playthrough, or hard mode specific stuff, but I'm, seeing everything, and everything's better done on the second playthrough, because I'm like, oh, wait... This, I don't remember this. Oh, hey, check this out. This seems different. Or, hey, I don't remember this. And this is, I'm with the prior context that I have. Oh, now I'm getting this. Like, I can see
songs get new context as you play the other games in the other universes.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how brilliant the writing of Sam Lake is. Like, the man is absolutely insane, and he's not even afraid to have the material itself tell him that. He knows, but he's also not, up his own butt about it. Nothing is sacred to him at the same time, other than just getting the story on the page and getting it out there. Whatever you interpret, that's true. Because in one universe, that is the way this story works. And you're just tuning into a different universe than somebody else playing it.
Yeah.
And I love that, because it's so open. It's like, there is no wrong way to experience the story of Alan Wake. There's the author's intent, but he even says author's intent means nothing at the end of the day if you get something different out of it.
Because what you're saying about, what is art and whatnot, I'm remembering, how, the different ways it can be subjective. Because, you can say what art is, and you can say, oh, well, it's, or, what's the purpose of it? It's artist's intent. But then, if you're not able to ask the artist directly, how do you know what their intent was? You kind of just have to interpret what it is.
Yeah.
And who's to say that your interpretation will be correct?
Yeah. I drew this story about space robots. Everyone else is like, yeah, but it's really an allegory for colonialism, right? And the guy just, finger guns at the audience. Sure thing, buddy.
No, I just like space robots.
Yeah.
I remember there's a post on Twitter where, someone said something like, if the, if there's politics in all kinds of, in every piece of art known to man, then, what's the politics to this? And it's like an anime girl eating a burger. And so the original artist goes, yeah, the purpose is I wanted to draw a cute anime girl eating a burger. Sometimes that's all it is.
Yeah.
There is no political thing sometimes. Mm-hmm. They just want to do a thing.
But, so yeah, that, and the thing is I cannot wait for you to start diving into more of it so that I can have somebody who's interested in hearing about my nonsense ramblings about it. Otherwise, it's just everybody around me has to just put up with it. And, again, the music as well.
So you can offload your fangirlism to me?
Yes, exactly.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Alright, so...
Okay, so mine.
Yeah.
You've been running your mouth for... that the whole time. Okay, so mine, I actually have two things I think were best for, best thing I played off-channel.
Mm-hmm.
First one is this.
Yeah.
Because this is just because I just kind of bought this on a way. I saw one person on my friends list play this, and for whatever reason, the title stuck in my mind. I saw it on sale, and I was like, okay, I've seen this come up. What is this? And I looked at the trailer. And it looked very simple, and the little reviews from other big name play IGN or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was IGN. I'm just throwing names out there, they said something like, dopamine simulator, and I see like, kind of, just brief clips. Waiting on you here, buddy. But I'm just seeing like brief clips. I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I see it, and it was on sale for like $3 at the time, and I was like, okay, I've spent $3 on stupider shit. Why not? I'll go ahead and get it.
Yeah.
I'm not worried if the game sucks and I waste all of $3. No biggie.
And then you kept trying to get me to play it.
No, I didn't.
Well, you kept telling me that I needed to, is what I'm saying.
No, I didn't.
Hey, you were
I don't
telling
think
me
I
that.
ever mentioned it. I just started playing it, and then you showed up and I was already playing it. You're like, oh, you're playing it.
Oh, I thought you were the one telling me about it.
I have at no point mentioned this to you.
Well, somebody I know is really trying to get me to play it, but I can't remember who now.
Until you showed up one day for a recording session, and I was already playing this.
Yeah. And then out of nowhere, one of my favorite Alan Wake YouTubers started playing this game too, and I'm like, all right, fine. But it all ties back. It's all connected.
And this game, at first I thought, okay, whatever, just play. I'm gonna go ahead and change really quick. I want to say there was something. Hold on. Can I go back to a thing to max weapon? Well, no, my max weapons are at 6. I don't know. I guess. Oh, something I forgot.
Maybe it's because co-op.
Maybe.
Because if it's maxed out, it might break your machine.
Hold on a second.
Excuse me.
All right,
not sick, I promise. It's just bad lungs.
Go ahead and join in. Okay. All right, I think I see. Yeah, I think we only have like set things because usually my stats for this character are absolutely busted.
Yeah.
Because I have like a whole bunch of shit on her. Yeah, they made it. I guess they made it much more, a lot more manageable for co-op, or maybe there's a co-op option that I have not, that I didn't mess with. All right, we'll just grab a 10-minute, a 15-minute. That's fine.
Okay, yeah, because we're getting through our list now.
Yeah,
we're getting some good discussions in.
Kind of going through it,
and feel free to leave y'all's decisions on this too. Like, what did you like that we played? What fits your criteria? Tell us about stuff you played off, just on your own that you really liked. Heck, it might give us some ideas of things to check out, If we start seeing the same game popping up over and over again, maybe we'll check it out.
But sorry, I'm grabbing a whole bunch of shit because this stage just happens to have a bunch of garbage, a whole bunch of good items if you want to grab these things over here.
Yeah,
but the other best thing I played off channel was now I'm actually gonna dip into DLC here. I finally got around to playing the Gun Manor DLC for West of Loathing.
Ah,
I finally got. I've been putting that off for a long time. Finally got around to it, and it is hilarious.
Yeah, it's like those games were made for us and our very particular stupid sense of humor.
Yeah, pretty much.
The early 2000s Newgrounds humor.
Kinda, yeah. It's a bit nutty. But yeah, I finally got into that, and I thought, because I had like one overpowered.
You always wanted to walk real bad.
You always wanted to walk so badly, and now you can. But oh fuck, what was I gonna say? Right, I had an overpowered save file, and at first I thought, oh okay, why not? I'll go ahead and I'll just grab this, grab my old save file and just fucking steamroll through it. No, they have ways of making you engage with the new mechanics that they add.
Ah.
But I saw that and I was like, because I had one thing. It was like, you encounter a ghost and it's like, okay, do you want to try to just fight this ghost as is, or do you want to
bullet gun?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, do you want to fight it as you are right now, or do you want to find an alternate method? And by alternate method, it means like, find the thing, like the puzzle solution to solve this thing. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to fight it. And even with my viciously overpowered thing that makes the rest of the game a cakewalk, it was... I don't think I was in any danger of dying, but I did almost no damage. So it was just a slog. Like it
The game
makes
equalized on you, essentially.
Yeah, it made it clear that, hey, we really want you to engage with this thing. Are you wanting to go down? Because you keep like
I'm just walking in the
pushing
direction.
downward. Like I'm just hanging in the middle, and you just keep going.
Sorry, I tend to go south when I'm playing the game.
Okay. But yeah, I would say for best played off channel is either, well, not either. It's not like a competition. It's Vampire Survivors and the Gun Manor DLC.
Yeah. And DLCs count now, thanks to Elden Ring.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have done it anyway because I don't really actually care. Okay, so worst off channel.
Yeah. Surprisingly bad, most disappointing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right, so for me, you know that I'm obsessed with like the Surge games. Like they're my favorite Souls-like.
Yeah.
And their first game was a rough Souls-like called Lords of the Fallen.
Oh, is that the same company?
Yes, Lords of the Fallen was made by the people who made the Surge. In fact,
okay.
if you play Lords of the Fallen first and then go into the Surge feels like butter compared.
Okay.
But there is an enjoyable game there, but you have to get through some sloggy early stuff to kind of get the feel for the game. Like, it doesn't click as quickly as the Surge did. Well, they no longer own that particular IP, but a lot of the people that did work with them on the original did essentially a reboot. And it had some, like, Soul Reaver mechanics where you had a physical world and a spirit world, and it felt like it was going to be great, but I just found it to be completely unengaging. The mechanics for the spirit world just were clunky and unintuitive. I felt like the tutorializing on it was not strong enough, and I ended up just kind of falling off of it. And I got it for free.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And it isn't terrible. Like, I'm not mad. Just
disappointed?
Really disappointed. Yeah. I may one day go back to it, pick it up, see what I can do, but I have played better Souls-like games in the past year. Like, Lies of P. But, yeah, and it's great. But I didn't get all the way through it, so I didn't feel like throwing it on the list because even I hit a wall and kind of walked away from it. But yeah, I got to give it to that one because
Lords of the Fallen.
I just wanted it to be good, but it wasn't. Yeah.
So, my most disappointing off channel is something similar, where I basically played the predecessor of something that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
It was actually the most disappointing was the first Akiba Strip game, because we played Undead and Undressed a few years ago on the channel, and it's not an amazing game by any means, but it's,
I literally have no memory of it, but I believe you.
It's the one that takes place in the Japanese town of
that's where you beat the pants off people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you strip the clothes from people because they're vampires that die in the sunlight.
Yeah, that was the video game equivalent of tap water for me. I understand. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a bad game. It just doesn't click with any of my particular tastes in gaming. So yeah, no, I get it.
But I played the because that was apparently the second game in the series.
Yeah.
And I went and I played the first game, which it was like Hellbound and something. Hellbound and Debrief. That was what it was called. Was the first game.
And then Undead and Undressed was the sequel.
Right. And the thing was, you could definitely feel it being primitive by comparison.
Yeah.
Because, there's so many things where I'm like, how come I can't do this? How come I can't do that? And I'm remembering, right, I probably can't do it because I imagine it was just added in the second game. And there's so much of it feels clunky, from the controls to the UI, and it's just everything feels way better in the second game. So going back to the first game, after all the different quality of life improvements that happened in the second one, I'm like, okay, you know what?
I just realized I skipped a couple of categories with this.
What'd you skip?
I haven't mentioned my worst game off channel. Or my surprisingly good off-channel game. We jumped straight to the surprisingly bad.
Well, I think that was how you were, because that was not my surprise. That is my worst. My worst off-channel was Keeper. That's not my surprisingly good, surprisingly bad. Vampire Survivors and West of Loathing DLC was my best, and then Akiba Strip was my worst. Not really a disappointing, surprisingly good thing. Yeah. I think that's just how you worded it before we started answering a question.
Yeah. So, and besides, that gave me time to change one of my answers anyway.
Okay.
Because I forgot a game I just recently played.
I'm glad we're having this conversation. We're
but-
just changing answers on a
So,
dime.
My worst, and I couldn't decide whether or not I was going to put this one in worst or most disappointing, but I got to go with worst on this one. Because, the other one was surprisingly bad, was The Lords of the Fallen. My worst game that I played was Arkham Knight for the Switch.
Oh.
And they could have done some things, because, I mean, Doom Eternal works great on the Switch. Some of the textures are a little Vaseline-y.
Well, what?
But, like, it still maintains the frame rate.
Like, okay, that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna say. Like, is it just a a character model looks bad sort of thing, or is it like the frame rate dips, or
The texture resolution isn't as high as it is on other consoles, but the actual gameplay is just as solid on the Switch version of Doom Eternal.
Okay.
I have no idea how they managed to get it or 2016 to look as good as they do, because it doesn't have any right to look that good.
Okay,
But
'cause I wasn't sure if it was gonna be like a Mortal Kombat 1 situation on the Switch, because I don't know if you've seen. MK1
I've
on
seen
Switch.
how bad MK1 is.
Oh God, it's
No.
brutal. Why did they bother?
Yeah.
Like it's telling that the entry on the eShop for Mortal Kombat 1 does not have any screenshots.
Yep.
It's just the title image, and that's it. You have no idea what you're buying.
Yeah, and Arkham Knight, like, there's just, and I'm probably still going to enjoy it. I'm going to get through it. I'm going to see how it is, but just, it should not run as bad as it does. Because, like, I played it on PC when it first launched, and it was broken, and it played better than the Switch version does.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
they've since fixed the PC version, and it's great. When Epic Store gave it away for free a couple of years ago, it's flawless. No problems whatsoever. No notes. But I dropped $25 to get the 3-pack of Asylum, City, and Night, and honestly, they should have just not done Night and included Arkham Origins instead. That would have made it a good trilogy pack.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. So that's how that goes for me on that one. But let's see.
Because I'm about to say, I didn't do a surprisingly good surprising, because now that I think about it, I have not played a lot of stuff off channel that I haven't played a lot of new stuff. Like I tend to keep going back to games that I've played, because like I want to say, because as far as most disappointing, and this is gonna sound weird coming from me, because this is actually like going back to a game that I have played a lot, is Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Because recently, so they had the Video Game Awards not too long ago, and I remember Dead by Daylight wanted people to nominate it for Labor of Love.
Yeah.
But like, there's so many things that feel off with the game now that like, it really feels like some players
Like a Labor 2 love.
Yeah, like a lot of players kind of just felt like they saw the DBD devs ask for, the Labor of Love nomination, and they were really like, they have the gall to ask for this right now.
Yeah.
Because like the game is in kind of a rough spot.
Yeah.
Like the most recent killer they put out was fucking buggy as hell. Like they came out with they put out the PTB, like the test where they let players basically break
beta test,
like break the heck out of it so they can fix it before it hits live servers. And the new killer was very slightly overpowered. Like it was like, okay, she's a bit much, let's try to tone her down slightly. Or no, take it back. She was underpowered. They were like, okay, she's a little underwhelming. Let's kind of boost her up a bit before she hits live servers, and then let people go nuts when she hits live. And then once she got on live servers, she was fucking busted.
Oof.
Like she had almost no counterplay. There was like if the killer player picked her, it was basically instant win. Like it wasn't a. Trying to think how to put it. It wasn't like a high skill floor, and you get like where it requires high skill and you get high reward, it required low to medium skill and you got high reward. Like, you almost won for free. And then they had to, like, tone her back, and I don't think they toned her back. I think they actually, like, kill switched her for one of the modes. Like, one of the, like, the holiday mode, the event mode that they're doing for the winter. Because, like, something about it made her actually, like literally broken. Like, she could exploit something to where she gets a permanent speed boost. And they're like, okay, we need to dial this back. Like, we can't have her playable in this mode because people have found that you can break it, and they are breaking it to cheat.
And it's so fun if everybody's cheating.
Right. So they're like, all right, we need to dial this back. So yeah, and she's in a horribly buggy state right now.
Oof.
And it's like, it's one of those where, like, because she uses a dog to assist her. Like, she has, like, a hunting dog that goes with her. You tell the dog, hey, go here, and it does it. But, like, half the time, you tell the dog, hey, go to a place, and it just won't sometimes. Or it'll get hung up on the geometry or something. Like, it's trying to use AI to kind of figure out where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Which, you know, sounds like it could have potential on paper, but the problem is, like...
The pathfinding sucks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Because I'm pretty sure they tried that with the zombies for Nemesis, and their pathfinding is certainly something.
Which is awful, because they could easily just analyze player movement data for every match and then compile that together in their AI to give the AI better pathfinding.
And they don't. But anyway, yeah, that's
disappointing.
Yeah, like, the fact that, like, a game that I enjoy so much, I have to come back and say that it's disappointing because it feels like these are things that could be ironed out, and it seems like they're not.
And yet they're still begging to be nominated for something.
Right.
Whereas the fans of No Man's Sky managed to push No Man's Sky into overwhelmingly positive on Steam for the first time since it released.
Yeah.
And fans pushed for it to get the Labor of Love category. And the creators, like, the fans did this. This isn't us. But if you want to, go ahead. You know, it wasn't a please do this. It's, hey, this is a thing. If you want, it's there. You know? And that's what I want out of a Labor of Love. You know?
Yeah.
Because it is kind of the tale of two Debs there, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
And I like both games. Like, I don't, like, again, Dead by Daylight, not a bad game, but it's not in a good place right now.
Right.
Which is a shame because I just bought it on PC.
Oh, God.
All right, so what do you want to do next on here?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't even expecting to answer most disappointing. Like, right now, I'm literally just playing until we reach the 15-minute time limit for this stage. Like, that's...
Well, I have a new one for surprisingly good, because I was going to say this game.
Okay.
Because, but we've already had what we could say about this one. And I completely forgot that I just plowed through Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver and Soul Reaver 2 Remastered on the Switch. And the amount of love and effort and care that went into that. One of the directors of the games is a guy who has run a Nosgoth fan site since Defiance came out, which was the last Legacy of Kain game to reach full retail. They were able to get the original source codes of the games from Crystal Dynamics.
Oh, wow.
To rebuild the games from the ground up. But you can also click a button and play the game in the original graphics if you want. Soul Reaver 2 isn't quite as much of a remaster because the PS2 graphics are already pretty good. And the remastered graphics do have some egregious bugs, like giant black cubes where some models should be in one puzzle, which is kind of a massive sore spot, but I know they'll fix it. I trust they'll fix it. It's the same people who've done the fantastic Tomb Raider remasters. And they featured all of the outtake videos from Soul Reaver 2, but in like higher resolution, so you get to see all these fantastic, unfortunately late actors. Because a lot of the actors have passed away, like Tony Jay and Rene Auberjonois. And yeah. So getting to just see them in a room cutting up and goofing off and just being their best selves makes me happy. And like I feel like when we lose another one in the next few years because they're all getting up there, I'm going to fire up the Soul Reaver remasters, watch those videos, have me a drink, and just remember the good times of these games. And if they don't give me a Blood Omen 2 and Defiance remaster, I will find where they're headquartered and thump them on the nose.
Okay.
Because the Soul Reaver 1 had so much deleted content because the game did have a bit of a development hell. It was going to be like a 4-disc epic and had so much more that was going to be there. They found the original files for all of these deleted areas. They didn't just give you screenshots. No. You can explore those areas now. Not in the main game, mind you. They didn't put them in there because they are all kind of just little broken chunks, like some rooms they completed, a little bit of the mechanics, a boss fight you can interact with. But you can access them through the Lost Worlds part of the thing and just see how they would have looked. A full music player with one exception, the main Soul Reaver theme, which is actually just a song by Information Society. It's not on there because of licensing reasons.
Oh.
They could use it in the cutscenes, and it's some of the level music, but like having the original song in the game, they couldn't license it. Which I get, And there's always a possibility they'll get it licensed eventually and just include it in the DLC, Or maybe they'll include it with the Defiance remasters that had better happen, or so help me. But, that's got to go with my surprisingly good, because it could have just been the original games emulated on the platform, and I'd have been fine. As long as they fixed a couple of the game-breaking bugs in Soul Reaver 2, because that game is held together by duct tape and wishes. There's like these birds that when you approach them, they disappear. And if you approach a couple of birds that you're not supposed to before you go into this temple, the door to let you out of the temple never forms, and you're stuck and you have to start the game over again.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Because unlike Soul Reaver 1, where you always start at the same spot and you use teleporters to get around the world, you just unlock more teleporters as you go. Now, Soul Reaver 2, save points, and that's it, It's a bit of a step back in the world design.
Oh.
But you don't play Soul Reaver 2 for the gameplay. You just play it for the story, which is perfect. And the fact that it was only $30, it's one of the best purchases I've made all year. And I've had to buy myself food.
Okay.
But I mean, heck, if you ever want to, I highly recommend it as a gameplay for the channel eventually. You'll just have to put up with me doing all the voices, because I have practiced these voices for decades at this point. That would
be a long playthrough, though, wouldn't it?
Soul Reaver 1's not a long game.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially when you have me who knows where to go.
Right.
Because Soul Reaver is a puzzle game with combat. Soul Reaver 2 is a combat game with puzzles between the combat. And Defiance is a Devil May Cry clone with an excellent story.
Fuck. I just want to treasure chest, get a few more coins. Okay. Alright, I can die happy now. Okay.
Yay!
Fantastic.
You got us.
Oh my god. Quit reviving. Ryan, quit reviving.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Quit reviving. Okay. Alright, so that's our year-end wrap-up. Do we have any closing statements here?
It's been a long, rough year for a lot of people. Things are getting better. Things are getting worse for some. We've made friends. We've lost friends. Next year, find your own little way to make the world better for even one person, and it'll be a better year for everybody. Things are going to get a little bit harder before they get better. The only way out is through, and the best way through is together.
Cool. I don't have any closing words. Bye!